Stanford University just published a report showing that the humanoid robots we have right now, with the most advanced bodies running the best AI, successfully complete only 12% of real household tasks. That's the number almost nobody puts in the highlight reels. You see Atlas doing backflips, Figure robots packing boxes at BMW, Neo helping humans, or Tesla's Optimus folding laundry in a sleek white room. Those things are real, the backflip is real, the BMW deployment is real, and many companies are starting mass production as we saw in this video. The problem isn't that these videos are fake. The real problem is that they're the best moments of the best robots, captured under the best conditions, edited into 30-second clips, that make it look like we're 6 months away from replacing every single human worker on the planet. So let's go through the actual limitations one by one with real numbers. First, battery life. The single most critical bottleneck preventing humanoid robots from achieving industrial level deployment is battery life. For example, Agility's Digit robot operates for 90 minutes before it needs to change, and in practice, in real tests at Amazon warehouses, it operates in 30 minutes intervals, or Figure 02 gets roughly 2 to 3 hours of achieve operation, depending on the workload, because in some tests he stays still and just moves his arms, while in other tests he walks around. And even the so hyped Tesla Optimus is estimated at 4 to 5 hours, so Tesla doesn't give us many updates. I summarized them in this video. The target for this industry is at least an 8-hour factory shift, and the closest an humanoid robot has gotten is roughly half of that under ideal conditions, and not doing heavy work. And okay, many companies like Ubitech or Figure AI have shown that their robot can return automatically to the charging station, or even that they can switch their battery packs autonomously, but that only partially solves the problem because you still have to waste time to charge the battery. And for example, Bene Company estimates that achieving a full 8-hour shift without recharging could take up to a decade, and the physics are the reason. Bipedal locomotion, just standing upright and walking, requires constant energy to maintain balance. Every step burns power that a traditional robot arm bolted to the floor never has to spend, and unlike humans, most humanoid robots cannot efficiently recycle energy through passive leg motion, even though giving a humanoid robot's legs is very useful for navigating human environments. But for now, battery chemistry isn't improving fast enough to close that gap quickly. Second, dexterity, or maybe the lack of it. Today's humanoid robot can pick, place, move, but they still struggle with tasks that require fine motor control, like inserting a delicate connector, handling irregular or soft materials, or adapting in real time to an object that isn't where the robot expects it to be, which happens a lot in a real factory. In fact, that 12% success rate from Stanford is largely a dexterity problem, and in simulation where surfaces are perfect, objects are exactly where they should be, the same robot succeed 89% of the time, like we've seen in the tennis experiment by Agibot. In simulation, the robot exceed 90% success rate, but then in real life he got a much lower percentage, and considering that one of the two main targets are household tasks, the job becomes even more complicated. A kitchen has a wet spot in an unexpected place, a dish with a handle that's slightly different from the training data, or maybe a dog that walks through the workspace. The real world has infinite edge cases and dexterity fails at most of them. This is also why most real world deployments are so narrow. Toyota's Digit robot at its Canadian plant do one thing, carry small object from one place to another. Figure's robots at BMW handle specific parts on a specific line. These aren't general purpose workers yet, they're specialized tools that happen to have legs. One very interesting case seems Ubitech in China. For now we have very few details, so maybe I'll do a dedicated video in the future. Then there's a crucial point, reliability. AI-driven control systems can encounter unexpected states, sensor misreading, or computation timeouts that cause the robot to freeze, fall, or behave unpredictably. And especially in factories there's another element that many people don't think about, environmental factors. Dust, moisture, extreme temperatures, or electromagnetic interferences all affect performance in a way that a clean room demos simply don't reveal. Another example, in metal dense factories, Wi-Fi latency can exceed 180 milliseconds. At that latency, a robot receiving movements command from a remote system is operating on instructions that are already out of date. For SLAM navigation, the system robots use to map and move through space drifts 20 cm per 100 meters in dusty conditions. That kind of drift doesn't sound catastrophic until you realize the robot is trying to place a part into a slot that's 5 mm wide. So for now, despite tests from BMW, Toyota or Amazon, sustained months of reliable factory operation remains undemonstrated by any humanoid company. The most hours anyone has accumulated in a single location is Sanctuary AI, which logged 43.5 cumulative operational hours at Hanover in 2025, across multiple charging breaks obviously, and in every test shown for now, operations are bounded, supervised and limited to specific zones. Then we have one of the most important issues, safety. In February 2025, a worker at Tesla's Fremont plant was knocked unconscious and pinned by a robotic arm during operations, with the root cause being unexpected activation during a maintenance window, with no proper energy control procedure in place. And from what I can find online, that probably wasn't a humanoid robot, but that incident remained relevant for this video because the software is similar. And then there's many other viral videos of humanoid robot going crazy on people for absolutely no reason. The regulatory infrastructure is racing to catch up with this technology. For example, the AIS draft standard specifically addressing humanoid safety was only published in May 2025, meaning the industry has been deploying humanoid robots without established safety benchmarks. Then in 2026, some of the rules has been published, but strictly speaking, there's currently no rulebook. Companies and factories are making safety decisions in a regulatory vacuum, and the liability exposure is enormous. Then we have the data problem. Every major humanoid robots company is building what they call large behavior models, the physical equivalent of the large language model behind ChatGPT. The concept is train a robot on enough data that it can generalize to new tasks. The problem is the data itself. Unlike internet text data, abundant, cheap, standardized, physical behavior data is expensive to collect, hard to standardize, and very environment specific. For example, a robot like Neo of 1X Technologies or Figure by Figure AI can be trained to fold the laundry one home, but then completely fill in another home with different lighting, different fabrics, or even just a different table height. This is why, for example, 1X Technology approach with Neo Robot is commercially clever. They're using early customers as a data collection network, having human teleoperators take over when Neo fails, and feeding those corrections back into the training pipeline. That model works for accelerating AI training, but it also tells you exactly how far the underlying AI still has to go. And finally, the last problem, the economics. Because one thing is to post a cool demo on social media, another is hitting real markets, competitors, and production costs. Average selling prices for humanoid robots are falling from roughly 140,700, which was the average in 2024, to a projected average of 37,000 by 2030. And that trajectory is the strongest argument for long-term optimism about the sector, at least if you want humanoid robots. But right now, McKinsey pegs current per-unit costs at $150,000, to even in some cases $500,000, noting that prices need to fall to $20,000 to $50,000 for large-scale adoption to make economic sense. But even at $20,000, which is where Tesla and Figure are targeting their products, ROI math only works in high labor cost environments doing repetitive, physically demanding tasks. For most of the world's factory, classical robot arms or machinery are still cheaper, faster, and more reliable than a general-purpose humanoid. And as former Agility Robotics CPO Melanie Wise put it, I don't think anyone found an application for humanoids that would require several thousand robots per facility. That's not from an outsider. Obviously, none of these mean that humanoid robots aren't coming. They clearly are, for now, very slowly. In fact, the trajectory over the last 3 years is unlike anything in robotics history. Yes, we can laugh at this humanoid falling or going crazy, but keep in mind that just 4 years ago, humanoid robots industry was only in sci-fi movies, and a lot of credible estimates put widespread deployment in commercial environments at 5 to 10 years. Obviously, this video lacked the part about the job losses. I didn't forget about that, it's just that this video was aimed to technical issues. I talked about moral issues in another video, and I will do it in future videos. So subscribe if you want to stay up to date, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll analyze another technology that could shape our future for better or worse.